there was not a lot of chances to purchase any pigments. So they were very, very limited. And then there were maybe 3, 4, 5 different shades of color, right? There was black, white, yellow, some blue, which turned greenish, black, and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So what happened was, is like, we had to mix the shades. And I'm a trained screen printer and have a completed degree in printing. So where graphic design was part of it. So I understood color theory, and I started mixing the colors because for me, 5 colors were not enough. And then of course people had like always challenges with like, oh, you can't do a blue tattoo. You only, it's gonna turn black, it's gonna turn like crap. So when I started to work and use white to mix into the blue, I started to create all these different shades. And that actually started to break the straight concentrated blue pigment, and it made it stable because it was just too concentrated.
Yeah.
And when they started breaking it down with a white color, then you get all these gradations.
Yeah, these
and of course,
possibilities, yeah.
If you can do it with one color, hey, your brain tells you, let me try this with every other color.
Yeah.
And then it started to go. So from one blue, from 1 second to another, now I had 10 different ones. And okay. I experienced first with the different shades of blue, and that's really what made me famous in that part, that because nobody thought that you can do it. And at that time I said like, okay, let me do the reds, let me do the oranges, let me do the, and I didn't intermix the colors a lot yet at that time. I was still staying in their individual line of field, right? Like individual oranges, reds, blues, but I didn't intermix it. And then somewhere later on, of course, through the influence of other artists who were watching my work, and I got influenced by them very much, I started intermixing, right? I added yellows to the blues and started to get turquoises and started experimenting. And at that moment, I started understanding that skin plays a huge factor as well.
What was the turning point that you were like, I need to make this a company?
Yeah, as a lot of guys, right? I came out from a divorce, and I was on the road. I was already on the road in America at that time. And I just lost everything what I got. Right? So I had to give up my house. I have to give up my shop, which I worked for in Austria, which was the first legal tattoo studio in the country. And I needed to make a living. So a lot of people always ask me that, how do I get my colors? So they wanted me to give them the colors. I didn't sell them. I had no interest in it because I was a tattoo artist on the road. So I made this crazy idea. I think it was in Richmond, Virginia, where I just put out a book, or a notepad, and I wrote down 19 color set by Mario Bart, pre-order, and sold in sets only. And I think I made a price on it, $375. Still the same price 20 years later.
Oh, wow.
It's like, and I went to the show, and I think when I was done with the show, it was about 130 or 140 sets sold.
Wow.
And I didn't know how to freaking do it. It's like,
so the universe told you.
Yeah, they just, everybody signed up, and it's like, okay, I want one. I didn't get the money,
but
they were like, I want one. So what now happens is like, though, everything looks different if you do this for 100+ people. If I do pigments for myself, I make one bottle. I didn't have 5,000 bottles. I mean, this is what it is in my house now. I had 50 bottles in my house. I didn't even know where to get it from. I didn't know where to get the pigment from.
Yeah.
So I'm like, holy crap, I gotta mix this shit. And then, it takes you a week when you work at home a little bit and you make your set of 10 colors. It takes you a week. Now I got 19 colors and 120 plus or 30 or 50 sets, whatever it came up to.
Yeah.
And you talk about 3,000 bottles of pigment.
Out of your house.
Out of my house, in a blender, where you can get like 10 bottles out of each mix.
Oh, wow.
And each one is, so I went out, I bought like 20 blenders, and I put them all over the house.
Oh, wow.
And of course, I put all the powder in and did all this stuff, and I did it in my parents' house at that time because I didn't have a house. So, they were kind enough in the States to give me a place to stay whenever I came back from the road.
Okay.
And my mother was mixing, and my father was helping, and then the cats were blue, green, yellow because the powder is all over the house,
God.
and then there's a cat walking by with a blue mohawk.
Blue mohawk.
It's crazy. But that's how it started, really, you know. And then I did it like we closed them off, and then I was like, somehow people wanted to know what's in it, right? And then I started to go and say, I just put it on what's in it so people know. And I've never feared that people are gonna go out and try to find the same product, because I always thought if you give them a product that they can use straight out and they like it, why would they try to recreate it?